want to give a hat tip to WWE for acknowledging the passing of Don West on SmackDown tonight. I saw that news earlier. It broke my heart to see that. I've talked about Don West on the podcast and a lot of the struggles that he's been through with brain lymphoma going back to last year. So when I saw the Mike Tenay tweet earlier today, it was a real bummer. I was hoping he could pull through that. 59 years old, one of those announcers who I think at the time I didn't really appreciate how good he really was. Had a certain enthusiasm and energy about him that frankly I think is missing a lot in pro wrestling these days. But I thought it was very classy for WWE to have Michael Cole make reference to it tonight. He referred to Don West as a man who made a true impact on the wrestling business, which I thought was a very clever line in that he did. And I'll have more to say about Don West on the podcast on Sunday, but wanted to make sure I acknowledge that up front because that was a very sad way to close out the year. But this was a very big SmackDown to close out the year tonight, the final SmackDown of 2022, and it was a bloody night tonight on SmackDown. We had the Intercontinental Champion Gunther getting his head split open by Ricochet. We had Sami Zayn getting his nose busted open by Kevin Owens in the main event. And we had Kevin Owens, by the time this show was over tonight, Kevin Owens got a nasty shiner on his left eye. I did not see how it happened. I have to go back and see what move or what spot it was where it happened. Maybe Macho Man Randy Savage got a hold of him. He did to him what he did to Hulk Hogan before WrestleMania 9, because that's what Owens' eye looked like when that match was over. The swelling was pretty bad. His eye was almost swollen shut, but he got the win. He got the win for his team. This was the return of John Cena. This entire show tonight in Tampa was built around the return of John Cena to keep his record intact so that he can wrestle at least one match, meaning that for 20 straight years, John Cena has wrestled at least one match for WWE. We were only, one more day away, that record was going to go out the window. But he got back in the ring tonight. And barely. He didn't do much. But then again, he didn't have to. He showed up. People went nuts. They were very happy to see him because they don't get to see John Cena very often. In fact, this was only the second time all year outside of that video promo he sent in a couple of weeks ago. The only time all year that they saw him in a match, but only the second time all year. Because remember, we had the 20-year John Cena celebration on Raw back in June. This was the first non-Vince McMahon show. Non-Vince McMahon produced show where John Cena came and was present in front of the live crowd. Although it has me wondering, was this really a Vince McMahon free show tonight? I am left to wonder now that SmackDown is in the books whether or not Vince McMahon did indeed produce all or part of this show tonight. I believe it was Quiz. Was it Quizzical, who I think was in the chat earlier? And I think it was Quiz who said after the Charlotte Flair championship win tonight, Vince McMahon booking from the Shadow Realm. We got a Vince McMahon specialty on the show tonight because guess what? We have a brand new SmackDown Women's Champion. For the 14th time. 1, 2, 3, I don't even have enough fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times. The Women's Champion. Charlotte Flair. 18 months tops. She'll have her father's record beat 18 months tops. Some people might say it'll take 18 days or 18 weeks. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say 18 months tops. She has Ric Flair's phony record of 16 beat. We haven't seen Charlotte Flair since she lost the championship to Ronda Rousey back at Backlash. What was that, May? This was the return of Charlotte Flair tonight. Coming out after Ronda Rousey retained her SmackDown Women's Championship over Raquel Rodriguez Gonzalez, right? I still call her Gonzalez. Raquel Rodriguez. And what's amusing to me about this, Ronda Rousey is going to go down as the most boring women's champion that we have seen in years. But when this match was over tonight with her and Raquel, this was the best match that Ronda Rousey has had since she won the title from Charlotte at Backlash. Because their Backlash match was much better than their WrestleMania match. So she goes out there tonight and has the best match that she has in over 6 months, and then they take the championship off of her. which is cause for celebration. This is not all bad, but I've got mixed emotions about this. I've got a lot to say about what happened tonight with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. But we do have a brand new SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte is back. She's got this new remix version of her music. She was greeted as a babyface, which it looks like she's going to be going forward, although you never know. Just because she was a babyface tonight does not mean that she's going to be a babyface going forward. But it sure did look like we're going to get babyface Charlotte Flair. So that was an unexpected surprise that nobody was expecting tonight on the show. We also now have the official announcement for Bray Wyatt's first match back on TV. He's been wrestling Jinder Mahal at the live events all week. Broke his finger. But Bray Wyatt is going to have a match with LA Knight at the Royal Rumble, and it will, in fact, be a pitch black match. It will be a pitch black match. What is a pitch black match? We don't know. But they made it official tonight. It will be a pitch black match at the Alamo Dome between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. And we got to see who we think was Uncle Howdy. I don't know. Was it Uncle Howdy? Was it Uncle Harper? I don't know, but we got to see somebody on the show. So we had a little more advancement in the Bray Wyatt storyline, which is really all I'm asking for at this point. Just move the story forward a little bit quicker, please. We had a little bit of that on there. I thought we might get a reveal, but we did not. As far as who Uncle whoever it was actually is under the mask. But this is your SmackDown review, your final SmackDown review of 2022. Many of you here have been with me all year long. We've been talking about SmackDown for all of 2022. SmackDown has been the A show for much of the year for WWE. More so that last half of the year, SmackDown has very clearly been the A, by a mile, has been the A show for WWE. And so now we head into 2023, and I don't just want to see SmackDown be the A show. I want to see Monday Night Raw pick up its game also. I want to see both shows improve. I want to see both shows fun heading into the Royal Rumble, fun heading into WrestleMania. This is going to be Triple H's first Royal Rumble, Triple H's first WrestleMania as the head of creative in WWE. He shook things up a little bit tonight with what he did with the women. But I am hopeful that in 2023, SmackDown will continue and Raw will improve, because Raw has slipped back into bad habits. But it is December 30th, 2022. I am the Solomonster. Subscribe, drop a super chat, because I'm going to be reading them live on the air a little bit later on. I know you love that, so send a super chat on in. Channel memberships are open if you want to become a member. You want to gift a membership to someone at random here on the channel, you can do that as well. I saw you, Dakota. I know Dakota was like, oh, don't tell Solomonster. Solomonster knows everything. So thank you to Dr. Dakota Scorpio, who gifted 5 more channel memberships before I went live tonight. I see everything that goes on here. I don't know why you thought you were going to sneak that past me. But thank you for that. And 350 likes. Let's aim for 350 to be the booker a little bit later on. If we can hit that goal, if we can hit that benchmark, we'll book some matches at the end of this stream. And for those of you who may have missed it, I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it by now, but one last reminder, brand new installment is up right now of RSPW Rewind. First one in a year. Fans react to Bill Goldberg after he made his WCW debut in 1997 into 98. Going back in time, what was the internet in its earlier years talking about? It was pretty much talking about Bill Goldberg in the way that you would expect. But that is up, an hour-long installment up on the channel. It's on the main page, so please do go ahead and check that out. Now, I have a little bit of news here real quick to get into before we talk about the SmackDown show tonight. This is according to WrestlingNews.co. And credit to WrestlingNews.co because they nailed it. They were the first people to mention the possibility of there being a pitch black match, that a pitch black match was being talked about internally in WWE. This was many, many weeks ago, before anybody even knew what that was. They were the first ones to mention it. And this week, by the way, we found out why it's called a pitch black match, because Mountain Dew has a new flavor called Pitch Black. And Mountain Dew is sponsoring the Royal Rumble. And so therefore, as part of their promotion, they're having a pitch black match. So it's all part of this Mountain Dew promotion. I don't drink It's for, a drink that I will never, it will never touch my lips. I've never had a sip of Mountain Dew in my life. I have no interest in drinking Mountain Dew. Sorry to all you Mountain Dew fans out there. But they are sponsoring the Royal Rumble, and that is their new flavor. But WrestlingNews.co is claiming that there is another match that is penciled in, not for the Royal Rumble, but for WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. John Cena is going to have a match at WrestleMania. You would never know it by watching the show tonight. They didn't do anything to even give you a hint as to what John Cena may or may not be doing at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, if he'll be there at all. But according to them, John Cena will have a match at WrestleMania, even though he's going to be filming a movie pretty much all of February and March. His opponent, we've talked a lot about who his opponent might be. People have thrown around a lot of names. Austin Theory, if you want to use a current young star on the roster. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who it's pretty clear is going to have some match at WrestleMania. If you pay attention to him on Instagram. Austin is not training for a fucking marathon. He's training for something. He's training for a match is what he's training for. Maybe more than a match, but we'll get into that with my predictions on Sunday. John Cena, according to WrestlingNews.co, will be wrestling Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39. Now, Logan Paul said weeks ago on his podcast that he texted Triple H. This was after well after the match that he had with Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, which was excellent. But he texted Triple H because I guess maybe John Cena posted something on his Instagrams. There was some mention of Cena and Logan Paul. And he saw people on the internet kind of buzzing about it. And he texted Triple H and said, "Are you ready to break the internet?" He was texting his boss, imploring him to make the match. It was his wish. He wanted to wrestle John Cena. And now it looks like, if they're correct in their reporting, that Logan Paul is going to be getting the match that he wants against John Cena at WrestleMania. Now, I don't hate the idea of the match. And I know Logan Paul's in a bit of hot water right now. There's been a lot of controversy online as far as this crypto scam, and I don't know how bad that's going to get for him. But WWE signed him to a very lucrative contract. He is a big attraction for them. I don't see that, unless it really just blows up even bigger. I don't see that derailing his career there. So he's recovering from his leg injury from Crown Jewel, which was not an ACL tear. So he should be back in time for WrestleMania. He had an excellent match with Roman Reigns. Every match that he has had, he's only had 3 of them, but every match he's been in so far, even the match with The Miz at SummerSlam, was very good. And the match with Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, they hit a home run. So now, the idea of him and John Cena having a match, it's a big attraction. Logan Paul, in a few short matches, has proven how competent that he is in the ring. More competent than probably any other celebrity who's stepped into the ring who's never done this before. I think him and Cena, if Cena can find the time to show up at least once or twice on TV in the lead up to WrestleMania, the promos between them could be interesting. So I don't hate the idea of the match. What I said weeks ago, though, was I envision someone like a Seth Rollins or a Randy Orton as being a better opponent for Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That was before we found out that Randy Orton just had back surgery. And Randy Orton, I can't imagine Randy Orton is going to factor into anybody's WrestleMania plans. And I still think Logan Paul and Seth Rollins would be a better match. But I don't hate the idea of Cena and Logan Paul if that's what they want to do. WrestlingNews.co has dropped a lot of news today, by the way, in case you haven't been paying attention about the WrestleMania card. And we'll talk more about that on Sunday's podcast. But let's get into the SmackDown show for tonight. SmackDown opened with Bray Wyatt coming to the ring, broken finger and all. Got the full entrance, making his way down for a promo after his assault on that poor cameraman, that planted cameraman, that independent wrestler cameraman from last week's show when he gave him the mandible claw. Now, I'm being told we were less than 50 likes away already from our goal for Be the Booker. You guys can do even better than that. You guys can do at least 450. Come on. What are you? What are you, a wimp? What do I have, a bunch of wimps here in this chat? You guys can probably even double that, but I think 450 is doable. Don't let me down. So Bray's in the ring. And he's talking, he says, deep down, I don't really think about myself as a good person. When I look back, though, on all the things that I did to get to where I am today, I don't regret much. He says, but last week I did something that I do regret. Said I attacked a cameraman in cold blood, and he didn't deserve that. And if he's watching this, I just want you to know. And then before he could apologize to the cameraman, LA Knight's music hits. So here comes LA Knight. He's out here to talk to us. Let me talk to you. He mocked Bray's apology, said the master of mind games getting gamed by the megastar LA Knight. What happened to you, man? He goes, you can't even finish a sentence, and then you get all embarrassed and you take it out on a poor cameraman. But he's not concerned with that. What he's concerned with, he says, is him paying one of his goons to come out here last week dressed as or 2 weeks ago, dressed as Uncle Howdy, because he still doesn't believe that they're two separate people. So he thinks Bray is paying somebody off to pretend that there's an Uncle Howdy, when in reality, he doesn't think there's an Uncle Howdy. He says, but week after week, he says, you used to be something, you used to be a force. But week after week, all you've proven yourself to be is a fraud and a broke-down poser, or a loser, and a poser. But I've got the medicine. He says, Royal Rumble is coming up real soon. It's going to be my first, and my God, do I want to make it a special one. He says, and I'll tell you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that by taking you and putting you out of your misery. And Bray pipes up. He goes, you little idiot. He goes, who the hell do you think you're talking to, son? He says, I've been really patient this whole time, and I know that I could have ended this anytime I wanted to, so I think you're right. He says, maybe it's time for me to remind you and the rest of the world how cruel I can be when I feel like it. So, we're talking Royal Rumble? He says, I accept. And he threw the microphone at LA Knight. And at that point, we got ourselves another Uncle Howdy video, right? We got the glitches and we got the video. There's Uncle Howdy, revel in what you are, embrace the dark, right? Remember that line, embrace the dark. So Uncle Howdy walks out, or at least initially who I thought was supposed to be Uncle Howdy. And he's got new music that I actually think was perfectly creepy. I like the music. Unlike Charlotte Flair's new music, I like the music they used here for Uncle Howdy. But he's got his own entrance now. He truly has made it. He is a superstar now. Because now he has his own entrance music. So he walks down to the ring. He takes off his top hat. He places it on the apron. He climbs the steps up on the apron, and he gets into the ring. He took his place standing next to Bray. So you've got Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt standing shoulder to shoulder, facing off with LA Knight. LA Knight is all by himself, right? The music goes off. We still have the dark lighting in the ring. And all of a sudden, Uncle Howdy grabs Bray and drops him with Sister Abigail. And at that point, LA Knight, he leaves the ring. He's confused as all hell about what's going on here. And Uncle Howdy leaves the ring. He puts his hat back on and he saunters to the back. I thought we might get a reveal here. I had people on my timeline saying that Howdy looked different and maybe this wasn't Uncle Howdy. Maybe it's Uncle Harper. Because remember, when we first heard about the trademarks, they had trademarked two names. Uncle Howdy was one, Uncle Harper was the other. We haven't heard anything about an Uncle Harper. We've only had Uncle Howdy. We've had Howdy Doody every week, but nothing about Uncle Harper. So it's possible that it wasn't actually Uncle Howdy. But I want to put something up here because it was hard to see. All the stuff with the dark lighting and everything, it's so fucking hard to see what's going on these shows. So someone posted a better shot. This was we'll call him Uncle Howdy, whatever he ends up being. This is a much better shot. I didn't even notice this when I was watching this on TV. You'll note the beard sticking out of the mask. So the mask is different because they have to have at least an opening here for this guy's beard to be showing. Now I got people telling me, oh, it's Vincent. It's Vincent and Dutch from The Righteous, from Ring of Honor. It could very well be. These people could very well be. Correct. Maybe Vincent is Harper and Dutch is Howdy. Because Vincent is the one who has a beard similar to this. I don't know if it's as gray as what this beard looks like here, but you can easily dye your beard. He's got a beard just like this. So that's either, it could be Vincent, it could be Edge. Maybe Edge grew his hair back out, and Edge has decided to, I don't know, portray Uncle Howdy. Who knows? But this is a much better shot than the one that they gave us on TV. But the Embrace the Dark line by Howdy in that video, that was a clear sign that the pitch black match at the Royal Rumble that we've heard about would be a Bray Wyatt match. And then later on in the show, Michael Cole announced that it will, in fact, be a pitch black match at the Royal Rumble between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Now we just have to wait to see exactly what the hell a pitch black match is. You know, my only hope, I really hope they don't dim the lights for this match. You hear pitch black, you think, okay, God, you know, we saw this with The Fiend. We saw it in the early days of Kane with the red light, right? They do this gimmick. Remember Sin Cara? Right? Didn't they do this with the second Sin Cara where he was wrestling in the fucking dark lights? I hate that shit. So I'm hoping that's not what this is. It could be a blindfold match. We've seen blindfold matches before. It could be a cinematic match, although I can't imagine that the people paying a ticket to go to the Alamo Dome are going to be very happy if they're advertising a Bray Wyatt match and all the little kids want to see Bray, and then there's no Bray Wyatt entrance because they're just going to put a video up on a wall. I would imagine that the paying crowd wouldn't like that very much. So maybe it's not cinematic. We'll have to wait and see. We don't have any clear answers on that just yet. Maybe the winner has to drink so much Mountain Dew that they pass out. Hence the pitch black stipulation. Maybe it's in the contract with Mountain Dew. That is how the match ends. Only when the winner drinks so much Mountain Dew, all that sugar and crap, they just pass out. And then they automatically win the match. Maybe that's the pitch black match. Backstage, Sami Zayn walked up to the Bloodline locker room and he knocked on the door. Paul Heyman emerged. He called him Shmooly. And then he hugged him. And it's funny to me because people use the word Shmooly to describe someone who's an oblivious fool. Not sure if Sami Zayn realized that or not. So Heyman asked him, he goes, "How was your Hanukkah?" And Sami said, "It was as good as your Ramadan." Fucking loved it. I fucking died. I may be one of the few to appreciate that line, but I thought that was great. So Heyman told Zayn that Roman Reigns was very proud of him for the passion that he showed last week during his promo. He said the optics of Reigns standing in the ring and the fans chanting Sami, though, that was not so good. And so Zayn got very concerned about this. He said, "Why? Did he say something?" He was a little nervous about that. Heyman said, "No, but life on the island of relevancy is staying 3 steps ahead at all times." Heyman opened the locker room door for Zayn, and they were all laughs until Zayn was inside, and then Heyman wasn't laughing anymore. This was good, as most of these segments are with the Bloodline and Sami, or Sami and Heyman, Sami and Jay, Roman and Sami. They're always good. These segments are always spot on, so this was no different. We had Solo Sikoa representing the Bloodline going one-on-one with Sheamus. And I saw the Usos out there, and I saw the Brawling Brutes out there, and I thought to myself, what is WWE known for doing? What is the WWE formula? Well, the formula typically would be that you have a match like this that starts out as a singles match, and then it breaks down 5 minutes in, and then they go to commercial, and then they come back, and we have a trios match. Thankfully, that did not happen this time. Sikoa was in. Oh, thank you to, I see Mr. Backshots is joining us tonight. How nice of you to join. Thank you for the super chat. Now we're only 57 away from 450. Let's keep it going. We're getting close. So Sikoa was in control coming out of the break. Sheamus came back with a power slam, hit the 10 beats, and some bonus shots for good measure. He signaled for the brogue kick. Solo, though, caught him with a super kick. Sheamus came off the ropes, blasted him with a knee strike for a near fall. Sheamus put him down with an Irish curse backbreaker, and then put him in a clover leaf. Jey Uso tried to push the bottom rope closer so that he can grab it. That distracted the referee. That allowed Jimmy to pull Solo to the ropes. Ridge Holland and Butch came over. They fought with the Usos on the floor. Sheamus went up top, hit a double clothesline on the Usos on the floor. And Sikoa pulled Sheamus into the ring post, dropped him with a Uranage on the ring apron. Back inside, Solo hit Sheamus with the Umaga Samoan Spike. He pinned him to win the match. After the match, the Usos joined Solo in the ring. They took out Holland and Butch when they tried to enter. Sikoa grabbed a chair. He wrapped it around Sheamus's head. And Sikoa backed into the opposite corner. This is the move that he used to send Matt Riddle into drug rehab. But before he could do the same to Sheamus, Drew McIntyre's music played. And here came the former WWE champion down to the ring. His first time on TV in many weeks. He's been out with a ruptured eardrum. Missed the Madison Square Garden show on Monday. But he was back tonight. He clotheslined Sikoa out of the ring. He put down Jimmy with a Claymore kick. And McIntyre stood tall with the Brawling Brutes while the fans cheered. So it was good to see Drew back on TV. Again, he's been hurt. And get some star power back on the show. Crowd was very lively for the match. Crowd was pretty lively for most of the show. But they seem to enjoy this match. Sheamus is, again, he's in the middle of this career renaissance this year. Michael Cole was talking about it on commentary. You know, his career, he's been around for so long, but this year has been almost like a comeback year for him. So the fans are really into him. And yeah, what they did here, Sheamus took the loss. He took the pinfall loss, but it was not clean. But it does give Solo Sikoa a win, and so in that regard, it keeps him strong. He's still unbeaten, but it gives him a win. And look, they're trying to build him. So far, so good. I mean, he has very seamlessly just kind of blended into the main roster, coming up from NXT only a few months ago. He spent about a year down there. He got himself over. Completely absent of the Usos. His brothers didn't come down there to endorse him or anything like that. He proved that he can get over on his own, which I think is something that he wanted to do. I think he wanted to not just show up as the third Uso. I think he wanted to prove on his own that he could do it, and he did. And now he's part of the bloodline, but he has just, like, I can't even imagine now when I think back to how long this bloodline storyline has been playing out for. It's hard for me now to even think back to a time where he wasn't part of the group. So I think he has taken very quickly and very well to the main roster. So far, so good with him. Then we had Ronda Rousey defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Raquel Rodriguez. The same Raquel Rodriguez that Ronda and Shayna had attacked weeks ago. They broke her elbow. She's had the arm in a brace now for weeks. Tonight, it was wrapped, but the brace was gone. Michael Cole made it clear on commentary that she has been cleared. She was advised not to wrestle, but she was officially cleared by their medical staff. So he talked about Raquel taking Ronda to her absolute limit the last time they were in the ring together. That was months ago. They did the Ronda Rousey Open Challenge. Raquel may have been the first person to accept. I remember them having a pretty good match on TV. And it was sort of a glimpse into what could be if they came back around to it. Well, tonight they came back around to it. And shouldn't probably be a surprise, given that they had a pretty good first outing together. Things are different now. Ronda was a babyface back then. Now she's a heel. But it's not that surprising that these two would be able to go out there and have a very good match. Their first match, I remember, being surprisingly good. So they brought that up on commentary and they were really pushing the idea that Raquel is handicapped coming into this match. She was the heroic babyface fighting from underneath. So I thought that the story they told was good. They tried to keep Raquel strong, even though she ended up not winning. She followed Ronda to the floor. Early in the match, Ronda went out to the floor to take a powder, and Raquel went out after her. And she hit her, and she pressed Ronda over her head. And she went to go throw her back in the ring. And she threw her a little too low, and Ronda took kind of a weird bump into the bottom rope as she rolled into the ring. Raquel splashed Ronda in the corner a couple of times. When she went for a shoulder block, Ronda moved out of the way, and Raquel posted herself shoulder first. And that was the opening for Ronda Rousey. And Gruss in the chat Raquel Gonzalez, a.k.a. Giant Gonzalez. She is bigger than a lot of the women they have on the roster. But I have never referred to her as the Giant, the Giant Gonzalez. Well, I mean, look, she's not Gonzalez anymore. She's Rodriguez now, so it doesn't really fit. But if she were still Raquel Gonzalez, I guess you could call her Giant Gonzalez. Giant Gonzalez. I'll say she's a better worker than Giant Gonzalez was. I will say she is a much better worker than Giant Gonzalez was. And no, Giant Gonzalez is not her father. They are not related. Even though she is second generation, he is not her father. So Rousey started wrenching on the bad arm. And Raquel got to her feet, powered Ronda up, and then put her down with a Samoan drop. Rodriguez put Rousey in a Boston Crab. Ronda, though, escaped and countered into an ankle lock. Raquel rolled onto her back. She was able to kick Ronda off. And then she set up for the Tejana Bomb. But as she got Ronda up on her shoulder, she was holding her up there for the Tejana Bomb. Ronda grapevined the arm while she was in the air. And both women ended up tumbling out over the top rope to ringside. Rodriguez slammed Rousey onto the ring apron. They took a second commercial break. 2 commercial breaks in this match. So this may have been the longest television match of Ronda Rousey's career, because I'm racking my brain trying to figure out, and I can't remember the last time they took 2 ad breaks for one of her matches on TV. So this may have been the longest television match of her career. I think this went about 16 minutes. Rousey was in control coming out of the break until Raquel got a fall-away slam. Rousey came right back with a sleeper hold, and Raquel ran towards the corner, sent Rousey headfirst into the top turnbuckle. So if you picture it, Ronda is on her back. She's on Raquel's back. And it's funny, this is actually the move where Brock Lesnar broke Kurt Angle's neck on SmackDown back in, I want to say 2003. And that would have been the second or third time that Kurt broke his neck. But it was, I think it wasn't maybe it was a pay-per-view now that I think about it. It might have been a pay-per-view and not a SmackDown episode. But there was a match where the two of them were in the match together, and it was the same spot where Kurt was on Brock's back, and Brock just barreled into the corner, and the way Kurt's neck, his neck compressed and broke his neck. Ronda's lucky she didn't break hers, but she went head first into that top turnbuckle to break the hold. So Rodriguez knocked Shayna Baszler off the apron when she got up on the apron. She hit her twisting elbow splash from the middle rope, and she went for the cover. Baszler, though, was able to grab Ronda's foot to place it on the bottom rope at the last second for the rope break. Unfortunately, Shayna fucked up the spot. And she fucked it up because she was out of position. She had to race over because she was on the wrong side of the ring. And so she had to race over. And the referee kind of had to hold the count up just a little bit so that she can get there in time to put the foot on the bottom rope. The problem is the referee was staring right at it. I think Dan Engler was the referee. So Dan Engler is staring right at it, but then he keeps asking her, like, did you do something? Like, did you do that? Did you put her, like, he's asking her, did you do this? Dude, you're looking right at it. And then instead of ejecting her, and how many times have we seen WWE referees eject people, right, for doing less? And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to throw her out. He didn't eject her from ringside because he wasn't supposed to see it. That's why he didn't eject her. So the timing was off and she fucked up the spot. Rodriguez placed Rousey on the top rope. Raquel went to the middle rope. Rousey applied an armbar while both of them were standing up on the middle rope. And Raquel was fighting it. She was trying to fight her off as best she could, but she fell backwards. And I thought maybe that was going to break the hold, but instead Ronda held on. She wrenched down on the arm, and Raquel was in pain. It was her injured arm. She had no choice. She held out as long as she could, but finally Raquel taps out. 16 minutes this went, and they actually had themselves a pretty good match. After it was over, Ronda was in the ring with Shayna. And Ronda Rousey grabbed the microphone. And before she was about to speak, she was interrupted. So this alone makes Charlotte Flair a babyface to me, because Ronda Rousey was about to speak. She was about to cut a promo. And Charlotte Flair saved us from a Ronda Rousey promo, at least for a few seconds. So they really are going out balls to the wall here with Charlotte Flair as a babyface on this show. But we heard music that didn't really sound familiar at first. And there's a person, they have a man's voice who says, I think, hail to the queen or bow to the queen or something like that. It sounded like Queen Zelina's music for a second. But they basically remixed Charlotte's theme song. I didn't see anything wrong with Charlotte's music before, but they want to give her a refresh. I get that, but I don't think the music is superior to her old music. So it is indeed the return of the queen, Charlotte Flair, back on SmackDown. She's been ready for a while. You knew it was only a matter of which brand she's going to end up on. Does she want to work with Bianca, which she has said that she does? Will they move her to Raw? Because she's done all she can do, it seemed like, with Ronda Rousey. Or do they just put her right back on SmackDown? Well, they went with option B. So she's back on SmackDown. I guess SmackDown can use the star power. Now that I think about it, weren't we supposed to get Lacey Evans on the show tonight? It just hit me. Didn't that, not that I give a shit, but I mean, the vignette they aired last week, didn't it say, like, it begins next week? Or am I just completely imagining this now? It's 11:13 at night. The show's been off the air for over an hour, and now I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. I think Lacey Evans was supposed to make her return tonight. I don't know. Maybe she's posting more stupid shit on social media. Anyway, no Lacey Evans return on the show tonight. I'm sure you're all very disappointed. I know you're all very upset. I guess she got stuck in boot camp. So she was greeted as the returning babyface hero. Everybody was going crazy for Charlotte Flair. As they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you're gone for an extended period of time, people are going to be very happy to see you. Right? It's like the old expression, how can I miss you if you never leave? Well, Charlotte left, so everybody was happy to see her. I also think it's a combination of A, not only was Charlotte gone for so long that people were just happy to see her, but B, they are so sick of Ronda Rousey, it was almost like save us, Charlotte. They were relieved to see this woman back. Because she was not getting a reaction like this 6 months ago. Now, granted, she was a heel back then, but she wasn't getting a reaction anywhere close to this 6 months ago. So she gets in the ring, and I noticed right away that she was in her ring gear. So I said, something's up here. I thought that she was going to maybe wrestle Shayna because Ronda was going to do the old, yeah, I'll fight you, but not tonight. But I saw her in her gear, and I said, she's not getting all dressed up in that gear just to stand there and do nothing. So Ronda Rousey is on the mic. Unfortunately, we were not completely spared. But one thing you can count on when you put a live mic in Ronda Rousey's hand, you will have those magical moments where they are so bad it's good. This was one of those nights. Rousey said that it looked like Flair's arm was feeling better because the last time we saw Charlotte, remember, Ronda broke her arm in storyline. So she says, it looks like your arm is feeling better, and how's rehab going? And she assumed that Flair was going to challenge her to a match at SummerSlam. Now, according to my watch and my computer screen here, it is December, almost January, in fact. In a couple of days, it's going to be January. And Ronda Rousey assumed that Charlotte was coming out here to challenge her to a match at SummerSlam. Reminded me of the Summerfest. Was that Jeremy Piven? The Jeremy Piven Summerfest botch from Raw all those years ago. But then she corrected herself, to be fair. She corrected herself. She caught herself. And she said, Royal Rumble. Ronda Rousey, out here thinking that she's back in UFC, and she needs 6 months to prepare a fucking training camp for her next fight. So Flair said that she wasn't challenging Rousey for the Royal Rumble. She was challenging her for a match tonight. And of course, everybody cheered. Yay! We're going to get a title match. Yay! They were so excited, right? They're going to get a championship match. And you see that and you just assume that Ronda is going to look around and Ronda's going to go, not tonight, right? On my time. And then she's going to leave. But no. Ronda Rousey looks at her and she says, "You're in luck because I'm feeling spicy." And Shayna Baszler is trying to talk her out of this. And Ronda, though, she says no. She hands the belt over to the referee. She calls for the bell to start the match. And that's it. We're underway. We have a brand new match here. As soon as the bell rang, Charlotte came charging in with a big boot, wiped out Ronda. It felt like a Money in the Bank cash-in. Charlotte Flair doesn't ever need to win Money in the Bank. You think Charlotte Flair needs a fucking briefcase? Charlotte Flair has the supreme power-up if she was like a video game character, right? It trumps all other power-ups in the game. All she has to do is show up. All she has to do is show up and grab a microphone. The microphone is her power-up, and ask for a match, and asking ye shall receive. She don't need no fucking briefcase. So she boots Ronda in the face, and down goes Ronda. They do a false finish where you think the match is going to end, but it doesn't, and Ronda kicks out. So Flair then knocks Shayna Baszler off the apron. Charlotte goes for a spear. Ronda rolls through, and she goes for an armbar. Flair countered, though, into a pin, and she folded up Ronda, and she pinned her. This was very similar to the way Liv Morgan won the championship with her Money in the Bank cash-in from Ronda back in July. And just like that, Charlotte Flair, it took, how many months was she gone for? Was it 6 or 7? I want to say it was about 7, right? 7 months gone. It took less than 60 seconds on her first night back for her to once again be a champion in WWE. She is once again the SmackDown Women's Champion. She got her belt back, and then people wonder why. Tonight was a great example. People wonder why. Why are there fans who hate Charlotte Flair? Why are there fans who, they always crap on Charlotte and they resent this woman? This is a great example of why. It has nothing to do with Charlotte Flair, the person, so much as it has to do with the booking and the way that her character is presented on TV. It's stuff like this. It's the same thing they did a few years ago, which ended up leading to Becky Lynch getting over in a way that people weren't expecting. But Charlotte had gone away. Not for 6 months or 7 months, but she had gone away. I think she had some issue with, she had a busty issue of some kind that had to be repaired. So she came back after missing several weeks, and she was immediately thrust into the championship picture, which it seemed like Becky Lynch was being primed for a spot, right, against Carmella to challenge her at SummerSlam for the title. Here comes Charlotte Flair, shoehorned into Becky's match. And what happens? She wins the championship. WrestleMania, first ever women's main event, right? People want to see Becky and Ronda one-on-one. What happened? Charlotte Flair shoehorned into that match. And people wonder why. Why do people resent this woman so much? Tonight was just a refresher course for people who aren't already aware of why. It's pretty obvious why. Charlotte Flair becomes the first woman to reach 14 title reigns. She'll have her father's record broken, as I said, within 18 months. But for tonight, the crowd loved it. They loved her. My issue with Charlotte has always been her booking. It has not been her in-ring ability. I've never doubted her in-ring ability. She's had many excellent matches, including against Ronda Rousey. The very first match, in fact, that the two of them ever had at Survivor Series, when Becky got her face broken, Charlotte stepped in, had a match with Ronda. They had an excellent match. And Charlotte has had a lot of excellent matches over the years with Sasha Banks and with Becky Lynch and with Asuka and others. So that has never been my issue with her. It's always been a matter of the booking. Based on what we saw tonight, it just felt to me like more of the same. Now, I want to take you back several weeks. Several weeks ago, and I wish I can remember what episode it was, but I don't. On an episode of The Sound Off, I was answering someone's question in the mailbag about what I would do with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is going to come back. All these rumors about what championship she's going to be wrestling for. What would you do with Charlotte Flair? And I proposed an idea. I said I would not put her in a match with Ronda Rousey. And I would not necessarily even put her in a match with Bianca Belair, even though I think that would be a great match. The idea that I proposed was putting Charlotte initially when she came back, as far as building her for a WrestleMania match, I would put her on underneath against somebody new who she has not worked with before. And the name that I floated was Raquel Rodriguez. Remember that? That was a WrestleMania match that I pitched, just for the sake of bringing her back and not immediately thrusting her into the championship picture like they do every single time, because it's so predictable and it's been done before and people are sick of it. So try something new. We all know she's going to get back to the title. That's not a question. But it was a new opponent for her, right? So that was the idea that I pitched. I look at what they did tonight. They had Raquel lose, only to have Charlotte come out and win the championship. Why not have Raquel win the title? If you're gonna do things in this way, why not just have Raquel overcome, right, after having her arm broken and all the shit that these two women have put her through in recent weeks? You want to make a new star, you want to put her over, how about you have her win? And then Charlotte comes back. And now you can build to that match. Only it'll be for the championship. It'll be Charlotte Flair and Raquel Rodriguez. Why not do it that way? You could have gotten to the same place, only it would be for the title. And in the meantime, you've put Raquel over. You've tried to make a new star in the women's division. Instead, it just feels like more of the same. More of the same. We have to get another title around Charlotte's waist because we got to pad those stats. That's all it is. But I'm not going to totally dump on this completely, even though I have issues with it, because what this means is that Ronda Rousey is no longer the SmackDown Women's Champion, and that is reason to celebrate. As I said at the beginning of the stream, Ronda Rousey is going to go down as the most boring women's champion that we have had in years. And I was wrong when I said, and this is a while ago, before Ronda even came back, I said, Ronda needs to embrace the hate when she comes back. Because she really did not like the fans. And she said as much. The fans would make comments about her the last time she was here, and it hurt her feelings, and she couldn't understand why they were shitting all over her. And I said, you know what? Embrace it. Embrace it. You bring her back, you give her a mouthpiece so she doesn't have to go out there and do all the talking for herself because she's not that good at it. And just let heel Ronda Rousey rip, right? Eventually, you can get to Becky and Ronda one-on-one with Becky as the babyface and Ronda as the heel. But I thought the heel Ronda Rousey run is the one that was the right move for her. Well, we had heel Ronda Rousey for the last few months. It hasn't been that long, but it's been a few months, and it has been a failure. It has been a failure. I was wrong. I gave her more credit than I thought. I thought that this was the way to go with Ronda Rousey, and she did not prove that to me at all. There was absolutely nothing about this run that will be memorable. There is nothing about this run that people are going to look back on and go, what a great memorable run that she had as the women's champion. No, it sucked. It was forgettable. It was not good. And I am happy to see it over and done with. And if that means Charlotte Flair is the champion again, then woo! Fine. Fine. Because getting the title off Ronda Rousey was step one in the process of rehabbing the SmackDown Women's Championship scene heading into 2023. I was not expecting them to do it tonight, but they did it, and I'm grateful for it. So that at least is a positive about all this. I can't even get upset about that. So what does this mean for the future of Ronda Rousey? We don't know. I'm sure there'll be news that comes out about it in the days ahead. Felt to me almost like they were writing her off TV. But maybe they come back and they do a rematch at the Royal Rumble with Charlotte and Ronda. Could very well be that we'll get an immediate rematch between them at the pay-per-view. What it means for Ronda Rousey as far as WrestleMania is concerned, because there was a report today, and not only from WrestlingNews.co, Meltzer mentioned this as well. The plan right now is not to do Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania. That was the match that they were looking at doing, and the people wanted to see for WrestleMania 35. They were clamoring for it. It's hard to believe, right? That was almost 4 years ago. But yeah, it was the hot program in WWE because Becky could do no wrong. Becky was on fire back then. That was the match people wanted to see. And then Charlotte got shoehorned in there, and it was a triple threat, and it just watered things down. But here we are now heading into LA, WrestleMania 39, and the pieces seem to be in place. Becky now is a babyface. Ronda now is a heel. We're heading into the Rumble. It looked like that was going to be the match for WrestleMania. Now Meltzer is saying, nope. The plan right now is to absolutely not do that match. So I have no fucking idea what the plan is now for Becky Lynch. But for Ronda Rousey, is she even going to be at WrestleMania? I don't see any reason why she wouldn't be. But why rush things now the way they did? Is she moving to Monday Night Raw? Is she going to get off SmackDown? We don't know. We can only speculate right now. But this was the big shocking moment of the night that nobody saw coming, was the return of Charlotte Flair and having a new champion. So we'll see. We'll see what 2023 holds for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, they were laughing and yucking it up in the Bloodline locker room backstage. All the other members were sitting on the couch behind them. And Sami asked Roman if it bothered him that the fans chanted for him last week. And Reigns initially sort of, he had a look on his face like maybe he was going to explode on him, but then he tried to play it off like it didn't bother him and he was no-selling it. And he was kind of nervously laughing and he said, nah, it doesn't bother me at all. And he raved about the conviction in Sami's voice when he spoke last week. And he said, look, if you have even 10% of that in you tonight, this match is going to be easy. Backstage, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were with Hit Row in the back, and they were holding a broom. They were holding a broomstick horizontally, very low, and they were making fun of Top Dolla's attempted dive on television, on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. And among the jokes that they were making, Kofi said, there's a reason they don't call you Top Rope Dollar. And they laughed at him. Ricochet was there. He made fun of him. Riddick Moss was there. He had a great line. He called him Flop Dollar. Boy, I wish, if only I had said something like that on the stream last week. Called him Flop Dollar, as I'm sure everybody else did. Mace was there, or Massey and Mansoir. When you're being made fun of by the Maximum Male Mid-Carders, you know your career has hit the fucking skids, okay? When those two guys are making fun of you on TV, you're fucking done. So the jokes were starting to get to Top Dollar, right? Top Dollar was not very amused by them mocking him. And then Ricochet made a comment. And he said that at least Top Dollar knows now that what I do isn't easy. So Top Dollar lost his cool and he shoved Ricochet. And when they came back live, Michael Cole on commentary said, hopefully Top Dollar now realizes that at his size, he shouldn't be doing moves like that. And if I didn't know any better, if Vince McMahon were still running this company, I would think Vince McMahon was on headset feeding that line to Michael Cole like they were sending him a message. But what they're doing here is they're turning it into a storyline. They're turning not only his botch, but the fact that Hit Row has been absolutely ice cold since they came back to the main roster on SmackDown months ago. Hit Row is Triple H's biggest failure. Out of all the returns and all the things that he has done since taking the reins of WWE Creative, Hit Row in every facet has been a fail. They have not gotten over. They go out there. People don't care. Forget the botch dollar. Forget about that. They're just not getting over. It's not working. It's not the original incarnation of Hit Row. We're never going to know if the original Hit Row would have gotten over on their own with Swerve, because they literally made 1 or 2 appearances on TV and then they were done. So we'll never know if the original Hit Row with Swerve would have gotten over. Now they don't have Swerve. Swerve is the missing ingredient here. Something is missing. Something isn't working. And so now what WWE appears to be doing is they recognize that it's not working, and they're calling an audible, and it looks like they may be turning Hit Row heel, just based on what they did here in this segment. I'm not sure turning them heel is going to make a difference, but you know what? At least it's something. Yeah, go ahead. There's no harm in turning them heel and trying to do something different with them. I just don't think it's going to really make a difference. This act just isn't working. You know, Ashanti has something. Ashanti seems like a pretty decent worker. B-Fab, I like B-Fab. Having B-Fab in the corner, I don't have an issue, but Top Dollar is the one who they sort of build him up. He's the bigger guy. It's like he's the star of the team, but he's not good. And if there's a good wrestler buried in him somewhere, we haven't been able to see it so far. I'm still looking. I'm still searching for it. Maybe a heel turn would bring something out of him. But so far, up to now, it has been a fail. So now Top Dollar is going to have a Royal Rumble qualifying match. On TV next week, it's going to be him and Ricochet going one-on-one. Why some people can just announce themselves for the Royal Rumble like Kofi Kingston did a month ago, and other people have to qualify, this has not been explained. If you want to have qualifying matches for the Royal Rumble, that's fine. It's a way to eat up TV time. Although, it's still kind of goofy because you're trying to fill 30, you have 30 spots to fill. You're not going to have qualifying matches for all 30 spots. So you're going to have people who don't have to qualify. And you're going to have people who can only get in by qualifying. But at least be consistent with it. Imperium was out next. We had the Intercontinental Champion Gunther along with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. And they came to the ring, and Kaiser said that 2022 was the year of the ring general. Yeah, I mean, Brock, I said that last week. You know, Top Dollar probably should still be spending time in NXT. They have a developmental system and a developmental show for a reason. They have people down there right now who could probably do even better than Top Dollar would on the main roster, but Shawn Michaels, like Braun Breaker. Shawn Michaels just said a few weeks ago about Braun Breaker. I think we want to keep him here a little bit longer. He can use a little bit more seasoning. Does Top Dollar look like he's completely seasoned to you? No, it looks like they took Top Dollar out of the oven halfway through the cooking cycle. He's still very raw. He's not done yet. He wasn't fully cooked. They have to put him back in for a little while. That's why they have NXT. And I know it's embarrassing. It would probably be an ego bruise, right? After being on SmackDown, and he's making SmackDown money, main roster money. How do you do that? You're going to pay him main roster money, but send him back down to NXT? What is he, Mandy Rose? But that really is where they should be. That's where he should be. But instead, he's on SmackDown, and he's floundering. Like a fish that hasn't been fully cooked. Anyway, back to Imperium. Ludwig said that 2022 was the year of the ring general. Vinci said that Gunther was the most dominant intercontinental champion and nobody could take the title away from him. And then Kaiser set up a video package to show all of the men who have tried to take the championship away from Gunther. And they showed footage of his wins over Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Mysterio and Sheamus and Ricochet. So then Braun Strowman comes out. Here comes Braun Strowman to the ring. And he gets in and he says, you know, I noticed I wasn't in your video. And the reason I wasn't in your video is because you haven't beaten me yet. Moo. Moo. And the cows have come home. Paul Hamilton, the Portland pop star himself, who is celebrating the new year from Kauai. That's right, I forgot he's on his Hawaiian vacation there. He is dropping a $100 Moo Super Chat. And I still laugh because there are people who are new to these streams who are going to hear that and they're going to go, Moo? What the fuck? What does that mean? What's the context here? What was the context? Oh, I remember now. I always have to remind people. When the Judgment Day was formed, this is when Edge was talking about his mountain of omnipotence. And it looked like they might call that the faction might have that name. And I said, you can't call your faction Moo because that would be fucking dumb. And then it just ended up turning into a super chat. So there you go. Paul Hamilton, thank you, brother. Let's see those cow emojis. That's right. I want to see all those cows in the chat. Braun Strowman. He's not a cow, though. He's a train. He was in the ring. And he's telling Gunther that you haven't beaten me yet. He said, maybe Kaiser and Vinci were right when they said that a man couldn't beat Gunther. But he says, what about a monster? And so Imperium laughed at him, and they turned to go leave the ring, and he said, I'm not asking you for a title opportunity. He goes, I'm telling you. He said, I'm telling you, boy. He called Gunther a boy. And Strowman cleared Kaiser and Vinci from the ring. Gunther tried to chop Strowman, but he caught Gunther's arm, and then he clotheslined him, and Gunther rolled out to the floor. Look at all the cows. The cows have come home. Look at the cows in the live chat right now. My goodness. Look at this. I know what I'm having for dinner tomorrow. I'm having hamburgers for dinner tomorrow. That's what I'm doing. Gonna get myself a Whopper. Shit, with all these cow emojis, I could have myself a couple of quarter pounders ahead of our New Year's Eve stream. So Gunther rolled out of the ring. Braun Strowman looked, and he saw all the members of Imperium outside the ring, and he went out to the floor, and you know what that means, everybody. It's time for the Strowman Express. Here comes the Strowman Express, and Braun Strowman, he barrels over Ludwig Kaiser, and he barrels over Giovanni Vinci, and then he goes to do the same thing to Gunther, and he sidesteps Braun, and Braun goes charging right into the barricade by the timekeeper's area, and then boom, he goes through the barricade like a fucking moron. This is what Braun Strowman's MO was back in the day, when he was feuding with Roman Reigns, right? So we're going back a few years now. That's all he used to do. He used to run, look at this guy. He used to run into things. He would run into a truck. He would run into the back of an ambulance. He would run into the ring post. He would run into the barricade. He would run into the bathroom when he had too much Taco Bell. He was always running into something. This is prime. What does Michael Cole say? This is vintage Braun Strowman. So he goes running through the barricade. And so Gunther now grabs a chair, and he slams it over Strowman's back. Kaiser and Vinci hold Strowman while Gunther hit him with another chair shot. Then they ran him into the ring steps. Kaiser and Vinci rolled him back inside. Gunther kicked Strowman's left arm, and then he put him in an arm bar. So here come referees. Here come agents. Ricochet. Here comes the World Cup winner. And he comes running out with a chair. He dodged Kaiser and Vinci. I think he caught Kaiser with a chair shot to the head, chair shot to the face, which he blocked, en route to sliding into the ring. Hey, shout out to the Sneaker Nerd, who is now a brand new Sound Off superstar. He is a brand new channel member. Hey, Sneaker Nerd, what sneakers are you wearing? I got some new Nikes here myself. Braun's got his clown shoes. So we're all set as far as our footwear is concerned. But Ricochet gets into the ring, and he's chasing everybody off, right? So Gunther runs out of the ring. He exits the ring. But as he's exiting the ring, Ricochet leans over the top rope, and he went to go hit Gunther with the chair. And he caught him with a chair shot to the back of Gunther's head. Gunther didn't get clear out of the way in time, and so he got clipped by Ricochet right in the back of the head with a chair. He immediately grabbed his head, and we didn't see him again because he went down. This was on the opposite side of the ring to the hard camera, so we couldn't see what was going on, but we saw agents and referees. They rushed over in the background to check on him. The announcers did not make any mention of this. This was not acknowledged. This was not planned because Ricochet accidentally clipped him with the chair. And according to live reports, Gunther was legitimately busted open. He started gushing blood from his head. I don't know. It looked like the top of his head or the back of his head, not his forehead or anything. But based on some reports of people who were there live, he started bleeding. And again, they raced over with towels and they assisted him to the back. The update from backstage per PW Insider is that once he got to the back and they checked on him, he seemed to be okay. I'm sure they'll check him for a concussion, but he seemed to be okay, so that's good news. Ricochet took 6 stitches in the back of his own head. in the Miracle on 34th Street fight that aired last week. So I guess this was Ricochet's receipt for having stitches in his head. Now Gunther is going to have to get some stitches in his. But I figured this was setting up an Intercontinental title match for the Royal Rumble until Michael Cole later on announced that the Intercontinental Championship match is taking place next Friday live on SmackDown. So we will not have to wait very long, assuming that Gunther is okay and he's not concussed. Otherwise, they may have to push that back. But that match is scheduled right now for next Friday. They also announced for SmackDown next week that the Usos will be defending their undisputed tag team titles against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. That's the match they booked weeks ago on SmackDown that had to be canceled coming out of Survivor Series, I believe it was, because of Drew's injury. So now they're going to go back and do the match. And then it was main event time. Are you ready, Braun? Are you ready, little buddy? Are you ready to control your narrative? Because it's main event time. Oh, yes. It was the tag team match. Kevin Owens out first, followed by John Cena to the expected monster reaction to take on Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Again, Cena got the big-time pop from the crowd in Tampa, where I believe he resides these days. And Michael Cole called him the greatest of all time. And some of you may believe that John Cena is the greatest of all time. But that is the WWE narrative. They've been calling him, they've had the announcers calling him the GOAT and the greatest of all time now for a few years. So that is in WWE world, John Cena is officially the greatest of all time. So Owens and Zayn, all right, get out of here. You're bothering me. I had to chase him out of here. Owens and Zayn started the match off. Owens put Zayn down, told him that you're embarrassing yourself in front of your tribal chief. And already Sami had a bloody nose. His nose got busted open. And Owens is looking at him. And Owens just goes, "What's that stuff by your nose?" And Sami lifted his tape, looked down, saw blood all over his fist tape. So then Roman Reigns held out his hand. And Owens was mocking Zayn. Go ahead, be his little lapdog. Tag out to your tribal chief. And Sami wished him good luck, and then he tagged out. So the crowd was chanting for John Cena. And John Cena was reaching for the tag. Reigns indicated to Owens that he wanted him to tag in John Cena. And then John Cena began audibly calling spots in this match. It started here, early in the match, right? Not even a move. Cena was on the apron. And as he's standing there, he is loudly telling Owens and Reigns, milk it, milk the reaction. Milk it, milk it. And so the fans are chanting Cena, and they're building to this crescendo, right? And then as soon as Owens turned his head to look towards Cena as if he was about to go tag him, Roman Reigns punched him. So Roman was in control heading into a commercial break. They come back, and Owens fights back with a big clothesline on Sami Zayn now, who's in the ring. He tried to tag out, but Roman pulled Cena off the apron, ran him into the barricade. Zayn followed up with a weak haluva kick to Cena on the floor. Heels continued to isolate Kevin Owens while John Cena was down. Roman dragged Sami to his corner and tagged himself into the match. And Reigns went for a Superman punch. Owens, though, was able to avoid it. He gave him a super kick. Owens hit a top rope, big top rope frog splash. Almost got Montez Ford height. Not quite, but almost. Got some height on that frog splash, but was only able to get a 2 count. Plus, Ultra Adrian says, "You're a goat, ladies and gentlemen," out there loudly calling spots. The goat of WWE. We got goats, we got cows, man. We got everything on this stream. Where's the little alien boy? We'll get the alien emojis going here. We got everything on this stream. Did anyone else notice the bald spot on John Cena? John Cena is, what is he, 45? He's 45 years old. That's what happens, unfortunately. It happened to the best of us. I'm going to be sitting here a few years from now reviewing a random episode of AEW Dynamite. You might see hair falling out of my head. Unfortunately, it happens to all of us. Take Perk Angle, for example, who just popped up on screen. See? He has no hair on his head. Kurt used to have a very nice little head of hair for himself. Then Edge shaved it all off. So anyway, yes, John Cena is looking his age. I would not blame him for that. Unfortunately, it happens to everybody. So Owens went for a pop-up powerbomb. It got countered into a Superman. Hey, you know what? I just had a thought. A thought just occurred to me. You know, we're talking about John Cena and, he's got a bald spot and he's in his mid-40s. Maybe the reason that John Cena was so loudly calling these fucking spots on the show tonight, maybe his hearing is starting to go. And he doesn't realize, right? Because that's what happens when you look at an old person, right? If you have a grandfather or a great-grandfather, my grandparents have been dead for 20 years, so I've forgotten by now. But if you have a grandfather or grandmother, right, and they have bad hearing and they don't have hearing aids or whatever, you might be in a situation where you're talking to them and you have to speak very loudly, right? So they can hear you. Like, Grandma, how are you? Are you doing okay? And then Grandma says, I can hear you just fine. What the fuck are you yelling at me for? But maybe John Cena, he's having hearing problems. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe his age is starting to affect him. Pop-up powerbomb got countered into a Superman punch. Roman Reigns went to the corner to set up for the spear. Reigns came charging in, but Owens sidestepped him, and Reigns posted himself shoulder first. Cena got back up on the apron, and this is, now look, you may be of the belief that John Cena is the GOAT. I like John Cena. I have learned to appreciate John Cena more with him not being around as much. But I always felt that John Cena got a lot of unnecessary hate, right? So I like John Cena. Whether or not he's the GOAT, he's not my GOAT, but if that's how you feel, then more power to you. But this is inexcusable, okay? And I used to complain about this when John Cena was still wrestling full-time. The loud spot calling, even Bret Hart once called him out for it. And Bret loves Cena too, but he kind of, I wish I remember where it was, some interview he did, but like he was kind of laughing, but he was even mocking Cena for it. John Cena gets up on the apron. And he begins to loudly call spots so he wasn't even in the match yet. He had not tagged back into the match yet. He's on the apron, calling spots to Owens and Reigns. He and the referee both, Jessica Carr. Now, what I think was happening here is Jessica Carr was literally, she was like a parrot. She was like a parakeet. She was just saying what John Cena was saying, in case Owens and Reigns couldn't hear Cena. And I don't know how it would be possible for them not to. You could be up in the fucking last row of the building and you could hear what John Cena was saying with total clarity. But I think that's what Jessica Carr was doing. She was just sort of reinforcing what Cena was saying. But John Cena's looking at them and going, as they're laying there, right? They're getting ready to do the big hot tag spot. And he's going, hold on, don't move. Don't move. So his partner is trying to crawl to make the tag, and John Cena, with the camera directly on him, is shouting, don't move, don't move. And so Jessica Carr goes, don't move, don't move. And I'm sitting here going, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why does the camera guy at least cut away? Why, do something. What is he doing? Kevin Owens has been doing this for how long? He's been wrestling for over 20 years. Roman Reigns is the top star in the company. I think these guys know how to work a fucking hot tag spot. Is it really necessary for John Cena to yell at them, don't move? Okay, now move. Moo. Let's get the Moo super chat back here. What the fuck was this? So Cena he's soaking, because he wants to soak up the Cena chants, right? He wants the Cena chants to build and build and build. And so the fans are chanting his name. So then John Cena loudly starts screaming, okay, slow. And so Kevin Owens begins to make the slow crawl. And then John Cena says, tag. And Kevin Owens lunges. And he makes the tag. And everybody goes crazy. And John Cena, it was like watching a father coaching his 5-year-old son. Like he was the coach of the kids' like baseball team or something. And he was coaching him. These guys don't need training wheels. They don't need bumpers like they're at the bowling alley. I know John Cena hasn't wrestled full time in a very long time. And I know John Cena is used to being the ring general. But I mean, is this really necessary? What was it, like one of these NFL games where it's so loud in the stadium that the players can't hear each other calling plays on the field? Is that what it was? Was it so loud in the building? Maybe somebody who was at the show live tonight can chime in and let me know. Is that what it was? That it was so loud they just couldn't hear anything? I mean, it was loud, but it wasn't that fucking loud. I was like, this is as bad as it's ever been. Somehow, his spot calling has gotten worse as the years have gone on. I was blown away by this. I used to be able to call John Cena spots in matches before John Cena would even do them. This was I would talk about it on the podcast all the time. That's how loud, comically loud he always was. Like I would know instantly what move was coming up. So Cena got the hot tag. He got the trademark shoulder tackles. He goaded Roman Reigns into the ring with his "you can't see me" taunt. So Roman got into the ring and he got put down. So Reigns and Zayn were now laying side by side. And we got stereo 5-knuckle shuffles from John Cena and Kevin Owens. Cena hit the attitude adjustment on Roman Reigns, who rolled out of the ring. Kevin Owens kicked Sami Zayn in the gut, put him down with a stunner, and pinned him. Cena and Owens were celebrating their win. On the outside, a concerned-looking Sami Zayn was with the rest of the bloodline, standing over the fallen Roman Reigns, their fallen tribal chief, on the floor. Kevin Owens suffered a pretty noticeable mouse, as it's called, on his left eye. I did not see how it happened, but his eye was almost completely swollen shut. So again, I didn't see how it happened, but it was very noticeable. It was very red and bloody. His eye looked like. It was a fun match because of the crowd and because they were so happy to see Cena, and they were very up for Cena and the hot tag spot and all that. But this was a very basic, almost house show tag team match. And that's fine. But it was a very basic match. Cena did not do very much at all. And I can understand why. But he didn't have to. Right? The draw and the attraction was just him being there. Originally, he wasn't even going to have a match. We just thought John Cena's going to be back. And he's going to cut a promo. And maybe he'll announce himself for the Royal Rumble match. Right? We didn't. I don't know that people actually expected him to be in the ring. So him being in the match at all was a bonus. It was a nice attraction. He didn't have to do much. We got no indication of any future direction for John Cena, whether it be the Rumble, whether it be WrestleMania. But if the reports are true and he is going to be wrestling Logan Paul, then I guess there's nothing really that they could have done because Logan Paul's not on TV. So that's not really that surprising to me. But we got the finish that I predicted. You know, we talked about how does this match end? I said Roman Reigns is not taking the losing pinfall. Roman Reigns has not been pinned in a match, tag team or otherwise, in 3 years. It was this month, in 2019, that he got pinned by Baron Corbin, of all fucking people, King Corbin, at TLC. That was the last time Roman Reigns was pinned in a match. You're not going to have Roman Reigns take a pin in a random tag team match on SmackDown. The next time Roman Reigns is pinned in a match, he will lose his championship. So it was just a matter of, do you believe the bloodline is winning or do you believe that the babyfaces are winning? If Kevin Owens is challenging Roman Reigns, which is the belief, at the Royal Rumble, then Kevin Owens should go over in this match. Kevin Owens should pin Sami Zayn. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, it's booking 101. Seems pretty obvious to me. Now Kevin Owens can gloat about the fact that he beat the bloodline. Sami Zayn is in a world of trouble. But Kevin Owens now has a claim to say, you know what? I should get the championship match against Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are going to go out there for the third Royal Rumble since 2017 and wrestle each other for the championship. And Sami Zayn, interesting that Michael Cole noted on commentary, that Sami Zayn is still an honorary Uce. he has not been made a full-blown member of the Bloodline like, everybody thought he would coming out of the War Games match. Roman Reigns has still kept him at an arm's length and has called him the honorary use. And so obviously him losing this match here is not going to ingratiate himself very much to Roman Reigns. The storyline continues. Still the best story in wrestling. When it's going to end, we don't know, but we know it's barreling to an end very soon. Is it going to be at the Royal Rumble? Are they going to hold off until Montreal at Elimination Chamber, where it absolutely should be Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn rather challenging Roman Reigns? And even then, Sami Zayn can still be part of the Bloodline, but wrestle Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn could win the Royal Rumble and be talked out of challenging Roman at WrestleMania and instead get a title match against him at the Elimination Chamber. There's a lot of different ways they can go with this, but the ultimate direction is still the same. Sami Zayn out of the Bloodline by February, tagging with Kevin Owens to take the tag team titles at WrestleMania from Jimmy and Jay. How we get there, that's part of the fun, right? We don't know. We'll watch the story play out on TV. But that was SmackDown tonight. Let's take a look at the Twitter poll here. 68% have given this show a thumbs up. 21% thumbs in the middle and just 10% thumbs down. So people were very excited to see the return of John Cena tonight, or the GOAT, as WWE would have you believe. Let's get to the real GOATs. That's you guys, for all your super chat love that you have shown me tonight and all throughout the year. And as we barrel ahead to the end of 2022, why should tonight be any different, right? So let's go through your super chats and see what you guys thought of the show tonight, and John Cena and Charlotte Flair. Thank you also, by the way, for the likes. Looks like we're going to be doing Be the Booker in a little bit, so that's fun. Thomas Colella with the $10 super chat. In 1999, Goldberg had his entrance changed the night that Hulk Hogan wore the red and yellow on Nitro. Do you know the name of the song and why the hell they decided to do that? I think it was because of a movie. Yeah, he was in that. Oh God, was it a Van Damme movie? It was one of those Universal Soldier movies. I don't think he was the star. I think he was had like a bit part in the movie, I think. But I think one of the songs in that movie was "Crush 'Em" by Megadeth. So, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it was a Megadeth song. It might have been "Crush 'Em" that he came out to that night. That was weird. But that was the night that Hogan came back after all those years in the NWO as Hollywood Hogan. He came back as the red and yellow brother. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Megadeth song that you're thinking of. King Bling Blah. Got Money in the Bank vibes. Flair's cash in without the Money in the Bank. Like I said, she doesn't need it. Charlotte Flair is immune to Money in the Bank. She does not need Money in the Bank. The rules do not apply to Charlotte Flair, which is not surprising. I mean, her father doesn't think the rules apply to him either. Runs in the family, I guess. We've got Based Beerus, God of Seduction, with a $5 super chat. Ray wears a mask for his holiday dinners. LOL. Dominic reminds me of AJ Soprano. The best way to support your favorite heel is by booing them. Oh God, AJ was fucking annoying. Dominic is entertaining. AJ was not entertaining. I couldn't wait for AJ to get whacked. I was very surprised that he never was. Carl Winslow with the $4.99 super chat, taking a break from fighting crime in the deadly streets of Chicago to say fuck John Cena. I would rather live with 10 Urkel clones than see him go for number 17. Well, somebody doesn't like John Cena. It's Mantar! And that's from the New Year's stream 2 years ago. It's the Mantar Super Chat, $75. Was that JM? Was that our boy JM? I believe it was. We're gonna get to JM Super Chat here in just a little bit. JM coming in hot with some of that sweet Mantar, that Mantar mating call. There in that Super Chat. Thank you, JM. Will we see Mantar make another New Year's Eve appearance tomorrow? I don't know. But thank you, Carl Winslow. Bob the Builder. Now I see why Sasha did not want to come back. Yeah, I think Sasha's very happy with what she'll be doing next week. Flamethrower Fluff Salisbury. I just left the arena. I got to see my two sons lose their minds about 3 times tonight. Fun night for the Salisbury family. Well, that's what it's all about, right? Bringing the family to their... Was it their first wrestling show? I don't know if it was their first wrestling show or not, but you're a good father. You're a good dad. Yeah, we're going to be live tomorrow night. I'll talk about it in a second, but we're going to be live for the New Year's stream probably around 11 p.m. or a little before 11 p.m. We'll be here. Anti-M Bishop 07, rest in peace, Don West. And Barbara Walters. Did Barbara Walters pass away? I didn't hear that. Did Barbara Walters pass away? You know, Pele passed away on Thursday, right? Regarded as the greatest footballer of all time, the only man ever to win 3 World Cups. He was 82, I believe, also passed away from cancer, as did Don West. Fuck cancer, by the way. And shout out also to Issa, New York City Demon Diva, who I believe her mother is going through a similar experience right now, and so I am thinking about her and her family. Unfortunately, I know that feeling with my family, so as I have said many times before and will continue to say, fuck cancer. But what's interesting about Pele passing away on Thursday, he died on Thursday. Don West died today. Don West is the one who gave AJ Styles the Pele kick name in TNA. He's the one who came up with that name. And now we have Pele and Don West dying within 24 hours of each other. That's weird. That's very eerie. Mr. All Day J with the $20 super chat. Love SmackDown tonight. Glad the belt is off of Ronda. The main event was short but enjoyable. We all know Cena can't get hurt. Has to keep that movie money rolling in. Thank you for all that you do, Solomonster. Well, thank you, Mr. AJ All Day. Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't expecting Cena to do too much because he is going to be filming another movie soon and he's worth a lot of money. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting him to do much. Queen Fire Panda, the $10 super chat. Somewhere Bret Hart is blaming Goldberg for the booking of the main event. I believe that Bret Hart was at Starbucks, or, well, Bret Hart's up in Calgary, right? So he probably would have gone to Tim Hortons. And from what I understand, he had gone to Tim Hortons earlier today, got a cup of coffee. He doesn't take milk in his coffee, but they put milk in his coffee, and he blamed Bill Goldberg for it. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Hey, Brandon Proctor, thank you for being a channel member, man. I appreciate that. Nick Grosso with a $9.99. That Charlotte Flair stuff was terrible. Seriously, if Ronda was going to drop the title tonight, then why not have Raquel win it? And the main event was underwhelming. Well, exactly what I said earlier about Raquel, as I look at it now. And maybe it'll all make sense in a week or in a month. Maybe they're going somewhere very specific with it. But as I watched it tonight, I had the exact same thought. You know, why not just put the title on Raquel? Put her over. And then you can have Raquel work with Charlotte. It's a fresh match that we haven't seen before. Yeah, maybe it won't end well for Raquel, as it hasn't for many other people when they wrestle Charlotte at WrestleMania. But I would have preferred that to what they did. Mr. Backshots with the $5 super chat. Even though Hit Row gets a bad rep, I actually believe that Ashanti the Adonis has really solid mid-carder potential. Just needs repackaging. Yeah, he's got talent. I've been saying that. I said that last week. He's got something. He's got something. He reminds me in a way of JTG. Very capable in the ring. JTG these days. If you've seen pictures of JTG, my God. I mean, I don't know why Triple H hasn't signed him. I mean, you talk about someone who has transformed themselves. I would think it's only a matter of time before Triple H sees him and wants him in the company. But he kind of reminds me of him a little bit. Nick Grosso, the only thing I liked tonight was the Bray Wyatt stuff, and I don't think that was Uncle Howdy, maybe Uncle Harper. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking also. We were talking about that earlier. I think you may be right. Angel Silva, $4.99. Charlotte's new gear is fire. Also, could you see Kofi and Big E being inducted into the Hall of Fame on their own? We know the New Day are going in together. Yeah, I mean, they've inducted people individually and then together as a group. I think that it's very possible. You know, Kofi especially. Kofi's been there for so long. He's won multiple championships. He's won the WWE title at WrestleMania, which very few people can say they've been able to do. Kofi will get in one day on his own, I think, regardless of whether New Day goes in. And you know New Day is going to go in. So. Tyler, Happy New Year to the greatest. Love you, Solomonster. Well, I love you too, Tyler. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you, brother. Dre Gold, $4.99. At the show live. Crowd was hot. Super fun. Been a fan since 2016. Appreciate all that you do. Happy New Year, Solomonster. Well, Happy New Year to Dre Gold. Rooster Loving Man, $4.99. Have you seen the Logan Paul crypto scam controversy? And could it make WWE pull him from WrestleMania and possible Rumble appearance? I've heard about it. I haven't watched the full videos on it because a lot of it's over my head, but I am aware of it. And if it gets big enough, it's possible. But as it is right now, no, I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. Slipper House Extra Extra with the $4.99. Kevin Owens looked directly into John Cena's bald spot and is now blind in one eye. Cena's bald spot lives, the you can't see me gimmick. Man, we got people making fun of John Cena's bald spot. Bryan Danielson made fun of Stokely Hathaway's bald spot to the point where this week he came out with a hat on his head. He got bullied into wearing a hat on his head. All you people make fun of these people with their bald heads and their bald spots until one day you have a bald spot or you are completely bald. And then you won't be making fun of these people anymore because it happens to everybody at some point. Slim Yoshi, you know, the fact that I can tell what the women's side is going to look like at WrestleMania is a good thing. I like, or he means can't see what the women's side is going to look like. Yeah, what has happened now with what they did tonight, they basically have sent the women's championship picture into a complete state of disarray where it's hard to tell now exactly what they're going to do. We don't know what they're going to do with Becky if they're not doing Becky and Ronda. We don't know what's going on with Charlotte. Rhea and Bianca seems like the natural match for the Raw Women's Championship. But there was a report earlier today that they were going to go with Rhea and Ronda at WrestleMania. And I guess they still could, although it wouldn't be for a championship. But what sense would that make? Two heels, one's on Raw, one's on SmackDown. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. And there is, you know, an aspect of that that's nice, that we can't really predict exactly what's going to end up happening. That's kind of nice, right? There aren't too many unpredictable things these days. So that is a nice thing. Hyru. I am by no means a Ronda fan, but I can see why Sasha left to wrestle new talent. At least have Charlotte earn the damn title. Absolutely ridiculous. It's this type of booking. This is why a lot of people resent Charlotte Flair. Comes back, first night in, wins the championship. Why? Why? Are they totally devoid of coming up with storylines for this woman that don't revolve around the championship? Is it that hard to come up with something? Ali with the $4.99. I wish to be as handsome as you when I am 40. Happy Friday and an early Happy New Year's. Hope you love the Bret Hart pin. I do. Thank you again. Shout out to Resilience Brand. Got a lot of cool pins and other merch. Check them out on Instagram. I have my Bret Hart pin along with all my other Bret Hart merch tucked away. Corey Mervin, silent observer, but a huge fan. Keep it up. Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much. Mr. X, match idea. Stone Cold against Andrew Tate. I think I've had my fill of celebrities. I'm going to have a lot to say about this Tyson Fury stuff on Sunday also. Wait until I talk about that. Chris Miner with the $9.99. Since Brock Lesnar has been back in WWE for 10 years now, what has been his best and worst match since his return? Says, my best is against Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series 2018, and the worst is against Ambrose at WrestleMania. The match with Ambrose at WrestleMania was disappointing. It wasn't his worst match. He's had worse matches. I mean, there are matches that he's had. I mean, the match with in Saudi Arabia with Cain Velasquez. That was just dog shit. I mean, I'll watch Ambrose and Lesnar any day over that fucking match. So the Ambrose match wasn't his worst match. The best match is tough because Brock has had a lot of great matches. The very first match that Brock had when he came back to the company at was it Backlash? What were they calling it at that time? Extreme Rules. That was a great match because it was so unlike any other WWE pay-per-view main event that we had ever seen. But I am partial to the match with AJ Styles at Survivor Series. The match with Bryan was also great. The match with CM Punk at SummerSlam in 2013 was fucking great. The triple threat match at Royal Rumble with John Cena and Seth Rollins was fantastic. Brock has been part of a lot of great matches over the last 10 years. It's hard to narrow it down to just one. But I think if I had to, oh my goodness. Bushwhacker. Hey, Bushwhacker Luke has a petition going. Bushwhacker Luke wants to be in the 2023 Royal Rumble. I guess they want to recreate the spot, maybe, from, 1991? When he came, he marched down the ring into the Rumble. He got in. Earthquake immediately threw him out over the top, and he marched to the back. So he has a petition out now. He wants to be in the Royal Rumble in January. I say let him. I don't know if he can go over the top rope now. He's how old is he? My God, how old is Bushwhacker Luke? He's got to be probably pushing, 65 by now at least? What was I even saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Anyway, Joseph Brooks, has there ever been a great fatal four-way? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there have been some really good fatal four-ways. None that are at the top of my list, but they haven't all been bad. There have been great triple threats. There have been great fatal four-ways. There's been great fatal five-ways, right? I mean, when Finn Balor got hurt and had to be stripped of the Universal title, they had a fatal, I'm pretty sure it was a five-way, right? Fatal five-way on Raw, where Kevin Owens won the Universal title. That was a great match. Right? It was Owens and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and I think Big Cass was in there, and I forgot who the other person was. But that was a great match. So, yeah, I mean, there have been very good fatal four-ways. WrestleMania 2000 is not one of them. Is he 75? Wow. Okay, so Bushwhacker Luke is 75 years old, according to Beowulf. Maybe not a good idea to put him in the Royal Rumble then. He'll be like the Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik won that gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania. The only reason he won is because he couldn't go out over the top rope. I don't think Bushwhacker Luke should be winning the Royal Rumble in 2023. Maybe Bushwhacker Luke will be the person to bring down the tribal chief at WrestleMania. Gabe Sanchez, $10 super chat. I just lost my mother on Tuesday, and I just wanted to say thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate all the streams and all of your hard work. Thanks again. Well, Gabe, I am very sorry to hear about that. It is the worst feeling in the world. And there's nothing that I can say that can make it any better, but I will say that I am thinking about you. I extend my condolences, as I'm sure everybody in the chat does. And I hope that the new year for you is going to be a lot happier than this year is right now. Bob the Builder with a $3 super chat. If the rumors are true, what do you think the motive is for Sasha to sign with AEW? Are you surprised with the Triple H regime that she decided against it? Happy New Year. I'm not convinced that she is going to AEW, but if she were to, I don't see it as being a long-term thing. I think Sasha's going to want to play the field and wrestle in a few different places in 2023. Why would she be in a rush if she's going to be a free woman as of Sunday, right? January 1st. Why tie yourself down to one place? Unless the money is so good. Why tie yourself down to just one place? Why? Why not just play the field for a little while? Do the thing in Japan. Work wherever you want to work. Whenever she is ready to sign a contract and settle down at one place, WWE and AEW would welcome her with open arms. It's not like, well, if I don't take my shot now, I may miss out. Like, it doesn't matter if it takes 3 months or 6 months or a year. She will always have a job in wrestling. So I would just take my time. Work, go to the Tokyo Dome. Work Stardom. You want to do some indie shots? Go ahead and do some indie shots. I don't see her jumping right into AEW. And I don't think that the conventional wisdom is that she's going to end up there. I know some people still think she's going to be Saraya's partner. I don't see it. Give me backshots. Solomonster. Very, very classy. How would you book a heel Bianca and a lead up to it? I don't know about the lead up to it. I have to give that some thought, but I think heel Bianca is money. I think heel Bianca with Montez Ford as a heel combo. I think that's money. I've been saying that for years. And I think it could be honestly as simple as just she has had such a dominant reign as champion that eventually, we all know how wrestling fans are, they're going to get tired of it and they're going to turn against her. And I think she then just sort of throws it back in their face and says, you people are ingrates. You people are unappreciative. All the work I've put in, all the battles I've had, all the matches. This is how you treat me? It could be as simple as that because you know it's going to happen. You know the fans are going to turn on her at some point. Hey, MST, thank you for the $5 super chat. Awesome job this year, Solomonster. Here's to hoping for bigger and better things in all of 2023. I cannot agree more. Red light matches suck. Yeah, I didn't say the red light district sucks. I just said the red light matches suck. EJ Slamp, the CFB playoff is tomorrow. Hoping for 2 Big Ten wins. Is the reason you don't watch college football because New York City does not have a major 5 team? No, it's just that I'm not that big into football. I'm casually into the NFL, but I'm not like a diehard fan like I am baseball. So if I'm not that big into football, then I'm not going to be big into college football. So I think even if New York had a major 5 team, I don't know that I would necessarily be a huge fan, but they don't. So I don't really have anybody to root for anyway. Queen Fire Panda. Solomonster, isn't it obvious? The only reason Triple Khan gave Charlotte the title is because he doesn't want her to go to AEW to be with her husband. Hashtag logic. I think her husband has visions of being back in WWE before long. I'll guarantee you that her husband is one of the people that Dragon Lee consulted as far as which deal should I take. And I'm sure Andrade was like, don't come to AEW, which is hilarious to me if that's true. Because 3 3 or 4 years ago, when Dragon Lee and Roosh were available, it was Andrade who was advising them, don't go to WWE. And now I could easily see the opposite being true. Don't go to AEW. Go to WWE. It's amazing how things can change in just a few short years. Dangerous Damien just got back from the show. Fun experience. Not a huge Charlotte fan, but almost lost my voice for her taking the belt. Another fan very happy that Ronda Rousey is no longer the SmackDown Women's Champion. Rizzo, devil's advocate about Charlotte. I know it seems bad now, but by Mania she gets booed and gets beat by Raquel, and now WWE has a new babyface woman. I mean, that would be the only way to go. Do they have the guts to do it? Or do they want to go for the big marquee match? Are they going to go with Charlotte and Ronda again? Are they going to do Charlotte and Becky? Are they going to do Charlotte and Dark Asuka? I mean, what? Or do they try to make a new star? They've been pushing Raquel, but they haven't really put their stamp on her yet. That would be one way to do it. Ian G, have you ever gone on a date? And have women been more interested in your wrestling knowledge? Or have I ever gone on a date? What kind of question is that? And have they been more interested in your wrestling knowledge or you must have missed some of the stories I've told on the podcast over the years. Remember the Dolph Ziggler printer story? How many of you remember that one? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to answer this question. I don't think that if I were on a date, I would want to sit there and impart my wrestling knowledge on them. I can tell you that on all the dates I've ever been on, my knowledge of pro wrestling has never come up. I have taken great pains to not bring that up, especially on a first date. And that's good dating advice, by the way, for all of you as well. Unless you know the person that you're dating is a wrestling fan, then it's fine. But if you're just going on a date with someone who is not a wrestling fan, or you don't know if they're a wrestling fan, don't bring up pro wrestling. It's the word of advice. Aussie of Steel with the $3 super chat. Charlotte Flair's only character trait is holding championships. James Hollins, can you blame WWE putting the title back on Flair? The SmackDown women's division has been awful. Rizzo, also my hometown Detroit is hosting SmackDown the week before Royal Rumble, and I feel like that's the night Sami gets destroyed as a message to Kevin Owens. Gabe Sanchez, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, and Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year. Happy, happy, happy. Thank you, Gabe. Again, may 2023 be better to you than 2022 was. Here's hoping. See, Jay William is a grizzled vet. Jay William has been married for 2 decades. He's the grizzled veteran here. He's been down in the trenches. He knows what it's like. Slim Yoshi, you know when Charlotte winning the title back and Dragon Lee being signed, it's like Triple H is saying, Andrade, we're waiting for you. Triple H, man, he's got open arms. He's got the red carpet rolled out. There's Perk Angle, everybody. Ice cream for more. $2 Perk Angle Super Chat. Allie, buy or sell? 2006 Mets lineup with Reyes, Wright, Beltran, Delgado, LaDuca, or 2023 Nimmo, Marte, Alonso, McNeil, Lindor, and potentially Correa. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Correa. They better get that shit straightened out. I'd rather not be reminded of the 2006 Mets, frankly, and how all of that ended. Look, I'm going to go 2023, man. I'm bullish on that. This is going to be our year. Paul Hamilton, thank you for that $100 bomb from earlier, and I hope you are enjoying. I'm very jealous of you. You are in Hawaii, and I am not. And that's just not fair. I mean, it's just not. It's just not fair at all. You know, January is going to be 3 years since I've been on a vacation. That was the Jericho cruise, which I enjoyed. And then COVID stole my my joy of cruising. That was my first cruise. I enjoyed myself. I have no interest in going on a cruise now. Hey, Ray Wrighton with the $9.99 says, woo! Oh, I'm sure Ray Wrighton, but this is like your WrestleMania, right? Ray is like the biggest Charlotte Flair fan that I have ever met in my life. Tonight was, I mean, she is just on cloud 9 tonight. I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you. I thought about you when Charlotte won that title. I said, I know who's going to be very happy to see this. Allie says, I have no desire to see Logan Paul wrestle for WWE again. Everybody should watch the CoffeeZilla video explaining his alleged CryptoZoo scam. Didn't he also have like an NFT or something? And NFTs are another fucking scam. But yeah, I don't know. Logan has pissed off a lot of people over the years. Sam Dankman Weed, best comment of 2022. Solomonster doing his taxes. Solomonster's going to have to do his taxes soon. I'm not looking forward to that. It's always one of my least favorite times of year, frankly, is doing my taxes. Allie again with the $4.99. Hot take. Grayson Waller has a higher upside than Hayes and Breaker. He's exceptionally over internationally, especially in Pakistan and Luxembourg. Yeah, I mean, he's got talent. I don't necessarily see it the way that you do, but we'll see. When he hits the main roster, we'll see. I just look at him as he's like the NXT 2.0 version of Miz. But Miz has had a very long, very successful career for himself in WWE. So, you know, you can say that and take it as an insult, but it's not really an insult. I mean, Miz has had a very charmed career for himself. Miz is a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever they want to put him in there. He's the quintessential, I mean, he's not an employee, but he's like the quintessential WWE employee, right? Like a model citizen for them. And he's there, whatever you need him for, comedy or something else, or to put people over, or to get people ready. How many people they put with the Miz? Now they're putting Bronson Reed with him. They had Tommaso Ciampa with him. They had Alex Riley with him. They had Damian Sandow with him. Lakers Pats. Thoughts on Quincy Elliott's Twitter situation? I am unaware of Quincy Elliott's Twitter situation, other than there was something a couple of weeks ago about some DMs that may or may not have been from him. Honestly, I haven't been paying attention because I really don't care. Bred Hart with the $2 super chat. Maybe Cena is training himself to be a movie director soon. So he is directing every spot in a very obnoxious way, like a scene on a movie set. I don't know what that was about. I mean, seriously, I kind of have fun with it. I make fun of it, but it was really bad today. I mean, really bad. Like, impossible not to notice. And it just takes you out of the match, because all I'm doing is focusing on him and what he's saying. Like, it's like they're in wrestling school, and he's coaching these guys. Like, slow. Okay, stop. Okay, now crawl. Okay, now make the oh, wait, stop. What are you doing? Greatest of all time. Allie again. Man, Allie is killing it tonight. Thank you, brother. I think Hook and Jack Perry would excel better in NXT. I don't trust Tony booking them long term. They would both be top stars in NXT within a year. They'd be top stars on the main roster if they were pushed right, let alone NXT. JM with the $75 Mantar super chat from earlier on. Gato, Stu, let's go to work, Stu. See, I actually like that. I don't mind that, because they have Stu the cameraman, who's worked for WWE for like 65 years. And so every time John Cena comes out, he acknowledges Stu and he says something nice and he says, let's go to work. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with that. I think that's fine. Andre says you can't see him, so he'll make sure that you will hear him. That's true. That's true. That's the comment of the night. Andre, you win for comment of the night so far. You can't see me, but you will hear me. JM says, hey, Solomonster, what do you think Moxley thought about Kevin Dunn's production tonight?
Fuck Kevin Dunn.
There you go. That's what Moxley thought about Kevin Dunn's production. Cena from 2 feet away. Milk it. Don't press the button yet. Not yet. Okay, now. Oh, yeah, see, if I would have read your super chat, I wouldn't have hit the button so quick. I fucked up the super chat like Shayna Baszler fucked up the spot in the women's title match. I was supposed to hold off. I was supposed to milk it. And I just... There you go. I blew my load too quick there. There you go. I'm sorry. I have failed you. But JM, thank you for that $75 drop, man. That's awesome. Liquid Sharingan, shocker. Charlotte Flair wins another title. Who would have thunk it? Anyway, if I don't see you tomorrow night, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Dev to Dust, would you rather turn triangles into squares or make all these squares make a circle? You know, it's these types of philosophical questions in life at 12:30 in the morning that I am not really equipped to answer. But if I had to give you an answer, I would, I think I'd rather turn triangles into squares. Arizona Rich, top dollar, the push we need or the push we deserve? I'd like to give him a push. Right off a fucking cliff. Bearwolf. Watch Black Dynamite, asking for 3 years straight. What is Black Dynamite? I don't even know what that is. I have... Look, dude, I'm backlogged with my watch list, okay? I'm trying to play catch up on so many different things. There's a movie on Netflix called The Good Nurse. I want to watch that. That looks kind of interesting. Brumakian Productions, buy or sell WrestleMania X7 or WrestleMania 19? WrestleMania X7. Phil Dog. Is this Larry the dog? What do you think of Dragon Lee signing with WWE? That's a great question. I think it's a great pickup for WWE, and I'm going to have a lot more to say about it on the podcast on Sunday. Thomas, thank you for the super chat. Cameron Spencer, $4.99. I unapologetically don't care that Charlotte is back. I'm not a fan, and fickle fans will turn on her rather quickly. What are your thoughts? I think we've covered Charlotte Flair quite a bit tonight, but I will agree that the fans are fickle. To go back to what I just said about Bianca Belair turning heel soon enough, I think you're right about that. Anti-M Bishop 07, in Solomonster's opinion, Hog match of the year. What is the House of Glory match of the year? Mine is Ken Broadway against Charles Mason ladder match. Great match. That was a great match. That was the first ever ladder match that we've had in House of Glory. Hey, JL. Shout out to JL in the chat. That was the first ever ladder match we ever had in House of Glory. Those guys killed each other in that match, but in the best possible. So that would be pretty high up on the list, but I got to give a shout out to main event. Our new tag team champions, Midas Black, Jay Lyon, the greatest show on earth. They just beat the Briscoes to win the House of Glory tag team titles. It's been building and building and building for months, going back to May. It was a great story. It was great being able to be ringside to call their big title win a few weeks ago. That was great. Yeah, really, the match they had with the Briscoes back... Oh, it's Bushwhacker Luke. The match they had with the Briscoes back at Holy Grail, our Holy Grail show in May, was excellent. You want to see a great match in Hog? The Women's Championship match. You can go right now. It's on YouTube when we're done here. Go to the House of Glory YouTube channel. We had our Christmas special go up a few days ago. One of the matches that we posted from the Fight TV feed was the women's title match with Violet and Masha Slamovich. Masha is the real deal, by the way. Masha's great. But so is Violet. They had a great match. So it's hard. I think the ladder match, though, is probably at the top of the list. I've had the great fortune of calling a lot of great matches this year, and hopefully we call many more in 2023. 2023 is going to be a very, very interesting year for House of Glory. There's going to be a lot of good stuff going on. Ray Wrighton with the 1999. Booking has never done Charlotte any favors. I'm going to stick beside her regardless, but what happened tonight was ridiculous. I'm happy she's back, but why did she need to win the title? Shaking my head. Do better with her, Triple H. See, and that's coming from a diehard Charlotte Flair fan. It's always come down to the booking. This was a Vince McMahon specialty, what we had tonight. And I know Triple H thinks the world of her from the NXT days and thinks the world of her father. And she is a big star in the company. No one is denying that. But when this woman comes back every single time, when she has some sort of layoff, and either the first night back or her first program back is for the championship, people end up resenting her for it. I mean, it's not a big surprise why people, turn on her so badly and shit on. I mean, some people don't like her. Some people just don't like her. But a lot of people are just sick and fucking tired of seeing Charlotte Flair with the championship. You can understand why. EJ Slemp, of all the Undertaker Mankind matches, where would you rank their no-holds-barred match on Raw in December of '96, which was 3 days before I was born? I don't remember too much about their Raw match. I always think of they had their King of the Ring match, but they had the Boiler Room Brawl, the Buried Alive match, Cold Day in Hell pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, obviously. The match on Raw in '96, I'd have to go back and watch. Exactly where it ranks on the list, it's not at the top, but I can't tell you where. I don't remember much about it. Winter's Paw, it's going to be weird calling Sasha by her real name. I don't think... It'll be weird at first, and then I think it'll just become natural, I think. I mean, I felt the same way about Dean Ambrose and a lot of people who went over to AEW from WWE. I don't think it'll take very long to get used to it. I'm sorry. It was Revenge of the Taker, not Cold Day in Hell. Cold Day in Hell was Undertaker and Austin. Bony. Is that a descriptive term? Yeah, it's boss time. Hey, one positive thing about Sasha Banks working for Stardom or New Japan or wherever she's going to go, we won't have to hear, it's boss time on commentary every time she comes out. It's boss time. Boney says, is anyone keeping count on how many turns Charlotte has had? I feel there's never any build to it, and she just goes missing and then a random turn. It's whatever they feel. It's whatever they feel. One month she's a heel, the next month she's a babyface. There's no real reason for it. Ice cream for more, yes. Andre Israel, when Flair does eventually get to 16 championships, do you think a lot of fans will care based on how she basically played hot potato with the titles? I won't care. I mean, to me, it's not going to be a big deal. Near, may we see progress for peace in the Middle East in 2023. From your lips to God's ears. Wouldn't that be nice? Happy New Year, brother. I hope you're doing well. Fire Panda, I accept the honor to take Solomonster on his first date. Really? Where are you going to take me? Dreyhan, modern WWE songs are kind of garbage. Not all of them, but the music definitely overall sucks now compared to how it used to be. The music has not been the same since Jim Johnson was gone. I like the CFO's music, and now they're gone. Now they're phasing out all their music. So yeah, the music has just taken a downward turn. But there's some songs I like. Keyshawn Johnson, what are your favorite set of champions? in WWE. My favorite set of champions? I don't know what you mean. Currently or ever? Do they have to be champion all at the same time? I don't know what you mean. KGB. Would Sasha Banks going change the TK booking philosophy as it pertains to the women's division? Well, that's always been the million-dollar question. I said it. Sasha Banks could be a game changer in that company. She could be a game changer for the division, but only if Tony Khan treats her as a major get. Meaning that when you have a major get, you put that person on television every week, you feature them prominently on your show, maybe in some main events. This is stuff we don't really get to see on a regular basis on Dynamite and Rampage. We had Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida in the main event a couple of weeks ago, and it was fucking great. I would like to see Tony Khan look at that match and say, hey, Jamie Hayter is somebody we can trust with more main events in the future. We can build a special Jamie Hayter main events on Dynamite. It all depends on how big of a star and how big of an acquisition he would see Sasha be. If he signs Sasha and then she is just another woman in the division and we see her once every few weeks, then no, she's not going to mean anything. It's just going to be another fat contract for Tony Khan, and it's not going to make a dent in the ratings. It's not going to make a dent in his business. So it has to be a matter of Tony Khan seeing it as a big enough deal to just change his way of thinking when it comes to how he features the women on his shows. Does he see Sasha as someone who can kind of lift up the other women in this division? Does he trust her in that role? Can she be that person? That's not up to me. That's up to Tony Khan. If it were up to me, she would be. But I don't book AEW. The Real Dirty Dan, fine speech. Shinsuke now. Okay. Shinsuke is in Japan, by the way. He's going to be wrestling the Great Muta in a little over 24 hours from now. Thomas, don't feel bad, Solo. I have not been on a vacation since 1992. No joke. Well, you need to go on one because that's ridiculous. You need to pick a place, preferably someplace very warm and tropical, and treat yourself, man. You only live once. Rizzo, buy or sell, who returns to WWE first, Rusev or Andrade? Also, my 2023, possibly 2024 prediction for WWE is SmackDown leaves Fox and goes to NBC, setting up NBC buying WWE. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'm going to be doing predictions for 2023 on the podcast on Sunday, but yeah, one of the things that you guys should be prepared to do, if you're going to join me tomorrow night, bring your predictions. So, because I'll be going through super chats and stuff, and if you have predictions for the year in wrestling coming up, WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact, Ring of Honor, specific talents, let me hear them. Keyshawn Johnson, how different do you think the wrestling world would be if McMahon never raided the territories, and what was the top 3 territories back then? I mean, when I think of the territories, they all did well in their own way. I mean, Portland was a pretty big territory. I mean, look, when it comes to the biggest ones, I think of Mid-Atlantic, I think of World Class, I think of Mid-South. But Florida was a big territory as well. Florida was big. The Sheik ran Detroit. I mean, there were so many of them. But I think of Mid-South and World Class and Mid-Atlantic. Those are the kind of the 3 main ones that come to mind for me. I mean, outside of New York. Obviously, the New York territory was probably the biggest of all. But if you take WWF out of the equation, those would be the 3. Hey, JM. With some Hardy Monster action on the Super Chat side. I'll get to you here in a second. We have got... there's Murder Grandpa, everybody. Suzuki-gun is no more. Apparently, Suzuki is going to be... because he's a freelancer. So apparently he may be working more for All Japan next year than New Japan. is very interesting. Our boy Luis. We couldn't end the year without hearing from Luis at least one more time. Luis, I just noticed this. Ricochet hit Walter on the head with the chair. Was that a coincidence? I can see that you did not join us for the early part of the stream where I talked at length about this. It was an accident, but it looks like Walter is okay. Yeah, AWA. Obviously, AWA was huge. I mean, AWA. Yeah, it's tough because I always think of I think of Mid-South and I think of World Class. But man, AWA, that's where Hulkamania was born. Vince raided most of his fucking talent for that, rock and wrestling period from Vern. Hogan, Ventura, Okerlund. Most of those people came over. Adonis, David Schultz, Rick Martel. Pretty crazy. I scream for more. Have you ever seen a tortilla in the dark? I have not. Ali with the $4.99. Do you think mortality or morality? Do you think morality is dependent on social composition, or is it mind independent from individual action and knowledge? Yes. Skywalker with the 1999. What if Vince McMahon took over WWE Creative and returns to the Royal Rumble only to introduce the real Uncle Howdy and out comes Hornswoggle in the Uncle Howdy outfit and pins LA Knight clean? What are your thoughts? I think you need to stop eating big meals before bed. I think it is rotting your brain. Thank you, Skywalker. Don't put that evil on. Don't even wish that or talk that into existence. Lakers Pat, sometimes I put Vaseline. Ooh, let me read this first. Okay. Sometimes I put Vaseline on and pretend I'm a slug. I didn't know where that was going. King Bling Blah, guilty pleasure Royal Rumble entrant. Mine is Simon Dean. Guilty pleasure Royal Rumble entrant. So guilty pleasure implies that, it's not like a big name that everybody would want to see in the match. Do I have a guilty pleasure Royal Rumble entrant? Maybe maybe Rodney or Pete Gas, maybe from the Mean Street Posse. Maybe that would be a guilty pleasure Royal Rumble entrant. Rizzo. Oh, Juan. I don't want to skip Juan. Juan Ocampo. Forgot who you were again. Would you please remind the chat who you are?
I'm the Solomonster, damn it.
Thank you. I always forget my reminder for everybody. Rizzo, did you see Ric Flair's comments about JR? Conrad knows what he's doing, but I think it's gross. I think a lot of stuff, frankly, that Ric Flair has been saying is fucking gross. I think Ric Flair is the most insecure person as far as like a top guy wrestler. And a lot of top stars are very insecure people, but he is probably the most insecure that I have ever seen. And it was also very evident watching his documentary, which I'm hopefully going to have time to talk about on the podcast on Sunday. Cameron Spencer, don't forget about Sanity. I am a huge fan. I'm not. I never really was into Sanity or got what people were so excited about with them. Ali with a $4.99. Last month, my brother wrote a 28-page academic paper researching Robert Agnew's general strain theory and the Benoit tragedy. He got an A+. Well, congrats to him. That's a lot of heavy stuff to research there for a 28-page paper. DEH Sires with the $4.99 super chat. Since Sasha's pretty much gone from WWE for now, I would push Liv as the next top star more than Raquel. Liv got one of the loudest pops in Madison Square Garden. You can push Liv. Liv is not. You're not going to push Liv Morgan as the biggest star in the women's division. I'm sorry. Yeah, Liv is fine. She's okay, and she's definitely has her fans, but no, Liv is not the one. JM with the $25 super chat. JM has been dropping a lot of love tonight, and I appreciate you for that. Are we sure that Vince McMahon is not holding the threat of his return over Triple H's head in order to get some of his booking ideas through? P.S. You blew the spot. Now you know why Cena yells. Happy New Year, brother. I failed you. I know, I failed you. I blew it. I blew the spot. You know, maybe based on this the Charlotte Flair stuff tonight, I'm starting to think maybe Vince does have a pipeline to Triple H. DEH Sires, Ospreay in the Rumble or Kyrie, which is most likely? I don't think either one is likely, but of the two, it would be Kyrie in the Women's Rumble. Also, oh boy, he dropped a few on me here. Ever thought of doing movie or TV show reviews? Well, you can find other movie reviews on this channel. I have not done TV show reviews, but yes, I have done select movie reviews. The last one I did, I think, was for the new Halloween movie. And I was not so kind to that movie. And he says, new horsewomen, Io, Rhea, Bianca, and Liv. We don't need horsewomen. Winston Smith, have you seen the Simpsons episode Homer at the Bat? No, I have not. DEH, if you had to choose between Ospreay or Okada in WWE, it would feel wrong, I think, if Okada was in WWE. I don't know, it would just feel wrong to me. Ospreay one day, yes, I could see Ospreay there. Luis, $10 super chat. Charlotte Flair returning to SmackDown as a babyface is unimportant. She just made the SmackDown Women's Championship even more worthless. I will sell you my Starlight Rare right leg of the... What? I will sell you my Starlight Rare right leg of the Forbidden... What does that mean? I have two legs. I don't need yours. I appreciate it, though. It's very kind of you. Todd Warner with the $10 super chat. Love you, Solomonster. Fan since the SE Scoop days. Could you ever imagine wrestling not being on TV? Yeah, I can. If they go all streaming, I can. It's increasingly a streaming world. So wrestling will always be around. In our lifetime, wrestling will never go away. But do I see a day where it's off television and on streaming? I could see that one day. I still think it'll be on TV. In our lifetime, I don't think it'll ever not be on TV, but I could envision it moving to a different platform. But wrestling's not going anywhere. Wrestling will always be around. EJ Slam minus Scotty Too Hottie. The look on his face when he entered in 01 against Kane and Undertaker was great. Then after he's dumped, Austin enters like a badass. And finally, DEH Sires with the $4.99 super chat. If you're Triple H, you have the option to only sign one. Who would you pick? Julia from Stardom, Jade Cargill, or Jamie Hayter to WWE? I would pick Jamie. I would pick Jamie as well. Because Jamie is great. Jamie is great. The thing about Julia, and I've only recently really been starting to get familiar with Julia's work in Stardom. I just saw the match that she had the other night, and it was really good at the Stardom show because somebody had told me I should watch that match, and I did. Julia is, I mean, she's an interesting one. She was born in England, I think, to parents of Italian and Japanese descent, or that was their background. She got kind of a unique look to her. She looks like a star. I mean, she really does. And I would be surprised, frankly, if she doesn't end up in WWE one day. But apparently her English is not great. She's been trying to become a little more fluent in the language, which is good. And I find that also to be a sign that she probably wants to be in WWE or one of the American companies one day. Yeah, I think Julia is going to be a one day, I think Julia will be a big star. I think she'll be a big star. Near with a super chat, $1.75. I made Hodgkins tap out in 2022. And I'm very proud of you, man. Again, I'm very happy that you are doing much better. Dr. Dakota Scorpio, Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year to Jason, who is still stuck in space. And Winston Smith, nephew, age 10, wants to be a baseball pitcher. Any advice? Just work hard at it, man. You know, whatever you want to do in life. As with anything, just put the work in, and he'll do just fine. It's a lot of love from you guys. So now, after all this time, it's time to be the booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the booker.
Oh, we got a late edition of Be the Booker. All right, so let's not waste any time here. Let's get right into this. Be the Booker time. And we begin, well, speaking of Flair and championships, we have the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, with that beautiful Winged Eagle title. Is that not the best looking championship? Ah, that's why I got it over my shoulder here in the background. So let's see, Ric Flair, this is 1992. Ric Flair is going to be going one-on-one with Sammy Guevara. It's a hell of a match. Sammy Guevara and prime Ric Flair. Got to give that the bell. Let's go to the women. Trying to speed through this here. Let's go to the ladies' side. We begin with Ivy Nile from Diamond Mine in NXT. I don't know what they've been doing with Ivy Nile. They put her in this team with Tatum Paxley. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to fit. So let's see. Ivy Nile going to be stepping into the ring to go one-on-one with the sensational Sherry. Again, not a bad match. Not a bad match. 2 for 2. Let's try to do 3 for 3 before we get out of here. Over on the tag team side, we begin with Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. And Rocky and Trent going to be getting into the ring to go 2-on-2 with the Lucha Brothers, Rey Fenix and Penta. Oh, Penta. Love Penta. Again, not a main event match, but I think it's a solid enough card. I'm feeling very generous tonight. These are all very talented guys. So I gotta call it like I see it. I gotta call it 3 for 3 tonight. Well, this has been fun. You guys came out in full force tonight on the Super Chat end. A lot of good questions and admittedly some weird ones as well. Not gonna lie. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a fun night. And we talked about the Charlotte Flair stuff. We talked about the John Cena stuff in the main event. It had a kind of a big time feel tonight, coming off the tape show last week. But now we start a brand new year for SmackDown. I hope you'll join me in 2023, just like you did here in 2022. We are going to be live tomorrow night. It's going to be the Make It to Midnight stream. Solomonster Make It Till Midnight stream. We're going to ring in the new year together. I hope you'll be able to join me. I'll probably be live around 11 o'clock. Maybe a little before. So give or take around 11 p.m. Eastern time. Come back here. So an hour before the clock hits midnight, we'll hang out. We'll talk about Wrestle Kingdom predictions. bring your predictions for next year. We'll do super chat questions. We'll hang out, maybe do some drinking, ring in the new year. If you don't have any plans, or if you do, you want to throw the stream up on your big screen, I'll be here. It'll be our 3rd annual stream, and hopefully you can join me and celebrate the new year. Dr. Dakota says, be the booker for 2022. We did just over 500 batting average. Yeah. No, we had some bad ones this year. But on the whole, I think we did okay. So here's to an even better 2023. So yes, I will see you guys for the New Year's Eve stream tomorrow night. Thank you for all the love tonight. It means the world to me. I appreciate it more than you know. Be well, stay safe. Rest in peace, Don West. Lost a good one. Broke my heart to read that news. But he will be missed. He was one of the good ones. And hey, Thunder Force with the late super chat, $2 coming in. Cena, HBK, Edge, Orton, Backlash 07 for best 4-way. That was a pretty good one. There have been a lot of good ones. There have been a lot of good fatal 4-ways. And again, multi-man matches. That was one that I have not seen that in a very long time. But anyway, like I said, rest in peace, Don West. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Take care.